So I'm very, very lucky to have quite a few people locally who are very similar to me, and we have a good, I'd say a good group of ladies who are respectful and who are about actually helping each other. So for me, if someone is a photographer friend, they're my friend first, then a colleague, then my competition. Like they're never like, quick story. So a friend of mine got this awesome, and I'm so proud of her. She got this really, really good gig. She's in a new child centre, not a childcare centre, but there's a brand new centre opening to help families with babies. So it's to help families just before they have to go to Tresillian.
Okay.
So helping with breastfeeding and sleeping and those things before they have to travel to Sydney from Wollongong.
Right, okay.
And she got the gig to fill the whole space with all her photos. And I'm like, oh my God, that's awesome. Oh my God, a cow. Oh my God, that's awesome. But I was proud of her first and happy for her first. And damn, I wish I had that gig, but I'm proud of her first.
Hey everyone, welcome to Yarning with Yana. Today we've got Natalie from Nina Photography. She is a newborn and family photographer in Illawarra, New South Wales, and she's coming in for a chat. Tell me about yourself. How long have you been a photographer? How'd you get into it?
That's sort of an like all life kind of conversation.
All life, that's it.
So like I've sort of always been a photographer. But sort of when my kids were born, my first son was born, it's sort of when I probably picked up the camera more often. I'd already had my first DSLR before then. And then when he was born, I was like, oh, these really aren't working. And sort of I was a bit sick in my first pregnancy, so I had a lot of time at home in bed. So I sort of started looking at photos. I'm like, oh, wow, they're really cute. So I ended up having my first newborn workshop when my son was 7 weeks old.
Right.
So that was really hard, leaving him at 7 weeks.
Yeah.
So I drove to Sydney by myself. I cried the whole way up there.
Oh, wow.
I was still pumping.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But, yeah, he was 7 weeks old, and that's sort of where the bug came from newborn. And then I sort of went back to work. Sorry. I had walnuts beforehand. Sorry. So, I went back to work with Lewis, and then, I sort of was really, I really hate this. This is really not what I want to do. Sitting there going, I just want to go home and edit, like, far out. Like, just hurry up, how fast can the day go? And then when I had my second child, I'm like, yep, I'm just going to cruise through. I've been there for nearly 10 years. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take when my return to work plan was finished, and I had to go back full time, I'm like, no, I'm going to take all my long service. I took all my long service, really sunk myself into the business, and that was my test. If I can't make it work by the end of my long service, then I'll go back to work. So, yeah, and that was, Isaac is now 3. So,
well done.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I sort of did it in the safest way possible.
Right.
Well, for me, I think it's difficult once you already have children, you already have a mortgage. For me, I was lucky to have worked for somewhere for so long in the one place, but I did have long service and maternity leave that I sort of had a little test period in a safe spot for me, so safe for my family.
Safe for the family, yeah.
Yeah.
And did you need it? Or was it more of a headspace, or did you need it?
Both.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then it was scary when you sort of took the break, and it's like, oh, goodness me, But the brand was there, the brand works, so I still have to work at it like everybody does. So, yeah, so I'd happily work for myself and run my own business than working for somebody else or another corporation. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So, has it always been newborns that you've been photographing? Have you tried your hand at other things, or that's always been your passion and your love?
People's my thing.
Yeah.
Just not weddings.
Have you ever shot one, or you're just not interested?
Yeah, nah. A baby will shut up at some point. Boob or dummy, one or the other.
Yeah, that's so funny.
So yeah, weddings just not happening.
Not happening.
Yeah, but people is my thing. Like, I don't get excited about anything else really, because people is my thing, and it's people with spunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, people with spunk.
Do you have like a bit of a process that you go to work out whether or not you want to work with someone and work with a client, or do you?
Yeah. Not really, no, because I think my style and how I communicate with people, that sort of filters out the types of people who really aren't my type of client.
Yeah.
And if I do get that odd person who isn't really my type of person, they might just be having an off day that day. Like I can't. So I still do my thing, and they end up. I've had a person who hasn't, sort of gone nuts by the end of the session with me. So, and most of my clients turn out to be friends. That's sort of how I feel. I feel like if I can't feel like the client's going to be my friend, then we don't really click and it doesn't really work. So I think I sort of really try hard. And it's not a conscious process. It's a very unconscious process that I go through. It just happens. So I just get stupider and stupider until it clicks. So.
So I guess it's really coming from a genuine place then as well, isn't it? Yeah.
Definitely. Mm.
Excellent. So how long did it take you in your business to get to, have you perfected a look and a style? How did you get there? What process did you go through?
I have a style. I'm always of the opinion that it's never perfect, that you can always learn more, always learn a way to connect faster, always learn a way to connect deeper, edit faster, process faster, all those things. My style, I think, it has evolved a little bit. So I used to be very white and clean and no colour. I was like, no colour, not happening. And slowly, I think as trend has happened, colour still pops in. So my base is still very clean and white, and colour just pops in and out. But I still always adore going right back to being raw, right back to being as clean as possible and as uncomplicated as possible.
Excellent. And has it always been that way, or was there a stage in the beginning perhaps that it wasn't that way, or did you?
Yeah, it was. So when I sort of tried to follow trend, it never really worked for me. So my sister's going to laugh when she hears this. So I always say, if it hurts my brain, it doesn't work. And that's in anything. Like if I look at something and I just go, something's just irritating me. So I'm like, it's just, I don't know. And that's how I look at it. Like my husband says to me, he goes, how do you see that? Like I look at a picture and I can figure out really quickly if something's not working. He goes, how do you see that? I'm like, well, if it hurts my brain, something's wrong. So.
That's a really good quote, actually. I think I might.
Yeah. If it hurts my brain, something's broken. So yeah. But I tried to, I sort of thought I had to follow the trend like everybody else. And then every time I'd set it, so before a session I would set. So I would set something for the client, and then, like I'm shooting the baby and I'd pull a piece out and I'd pull a piece out and I'd pull a piece out. And by the end it was back to being quite clean and organic anyway, and quite, simple. So I just stopped putting those things in.
And do you have much of a following of other baby photographers following your work and have a similar style, or do you kind of a little team of people that are similar, or?
Yeah. So I think that tends to happen. You find people who are like you. So I'm very, very lucky to have quite a few people locally who are very similar to me, and we have a good, I'd say a good group of ladies who are respectful and who are about actually helping each other. So for me, if someone is a photographer friend, they're my friend first, then a colleague, then my competition. Like they're never like, quick story. So a friend of mine got this awesome, and I'm so proud of her. She got this really, really good gig. She's in a new child centre, not a childcare centre, but there's a brand new centre opening to help families with babies. So it's to help families just before they have to go to Tresillian.
Okay.
So helping with breastfeeding and sleeping and those things before they have to travel to Sydney from Wollongong. Okay?
Right. Okay.
And she got the gig to fill the whole space with all her photos. And I'm like, oh my God, that's awesome. Oh my God, that cow. Oh my God, that's awesome. But I was proud of her first and happy for her first. And I mean, damn, I wish I had that gig, but I'm proud of her first.
Oh, excellent. Oh, that's a lovely way to be. That sounds like a really supportive little community out there. Yeah. Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah. Friends first.
Friends first, yeah.
You need them in business, and you need them in a creative business.
Yeah.
Because you second guess yourself so much.
So much. And you can get incredibly lonely.
You can.
reaching out to people.
Yeah.
So, all right. So you've used Album Registry a few times, which is exciting. Can you tell me, okay, just for one of them, I think it was Sally that came through. Did she come to you? Tell me about how did that unfold, that conversation?
Well, Sally was very lucky. Actually, Sally didn't organise her registry. Her sister did. So her sister was a previous client of mine, and she's like, oh, I really want to do this for Sal. But I know that lots of people want to be part of the process. So then I went looking, and I'm like, oh, we'll use that Album Registry I like the most, because I could sort of customise the page to suit my style. I could sort of allowed me to make it look like mine, not like I had this preloaded page which didn't really look like my style. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. I liked that the fees weren't too much, like every business owner. But that's how it went. I didn't really have to do much for Sally. My sister did it all for me.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. Okay. So she came to you with a plan that she wanted to, say, get a voucher or something like that, and have it.
Yeah. So with other clients, if they tell me they're having a baby shower, or sometimes when we're at the maternity session, it's something that I say, would you like to sort of organise a registry? And it's just bring it up. I'm a really casual person. It's like a yes or a no. Help you upgrade your package to an album or a bigger frame. They're the kind of things that help you take your session to more of an art thing to be in your home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Cool. So yes, I guess it's all about normalising that process, isn't it? I know with my clients, it's just part of the process now. So every job and every shoot that I've got, so every wedding, every portrait, say you have a registry, that's just part of the process. So every process, and I think going through it's just really standardising it and making it normal and just part of the process. And so every one of those, it just comes with it. Whether people use it or not is up to them. It's also a good way to, when say if someone finds you on the album registry when they're looking for newborn photographers, then they can actually see that you've got bookings, first of all, that say that I'm popular, I have clients, and I'm a design photographer, but they can also see dates and that sort of stuff, and see, well, probably more so for weddings, they can see that a photographer is already booked on that certain date, so that kind of rules may rule them out as well. Yeah.
That's a good idea. I have never thought about that. Have as a standard process. I got a standard part of the client process. It's there if you want to use it, great. If you don't, that's fine.
Yeah,
it's a good idea. And I find sometimes grandparents want to chip in too, in a discreet way without sort of giving them cash. Yeah,
or
that's a good idea. Yeah, that's a very good idea. Yeah, I will get my assistant to do that later.
That's beautiful. So, what did Sally get with her registry?
She got a 10x10 signature album, which is a lay flat album from Celdex, and she got a 1620 frame, so double matter frame from my lab here, my local lab. I'm very lucky to have an epic local lab.
Oh, lovely.
So, which is photo mart.
And what did she think of her gift?
Oh, she loved it. It was really good to not have to worry about a dip in funds towards the end of her maternity leave. And she liked the fact that everybody was part of the process and that everybody was part of the gift. It wasn't just something that she did on her own with her husband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely. And did you incorporate all the names of the people that have contributed into it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Always. She needs to know who contributed. There's no point. Because I'm like that. If I always feel weird putting money in a box. I'm like, but they have no idea it's from me. How are they going to know it's from me?
Lovely. And did you package it? Talk to me about your packaging and how you deliver your gifts, the gifts to the client.
I'm a bit pedantic when it comes to packaging. So we are low on packaging at the moment in the studio. So all our frames, obviously the bigger frames don't fit into any size bag, so they're always bubble wrapped, brown wrapped, a ribbon, and then normally a little bit of a leaf. And my lovely sister does all hand calligraphy tags, so everybody gets a hand done tag. albums are the same. They go in a box with stuffing and make sure everything's safe, and every client gets a personalised teether from me.
Yep.
And then I always give them a Jolly Jop dummy.
Oh, cool.
All the time, because I love those dummies and they work. But my teethers are my favourite thing. And Steph's hand calligraphy, and I know that people keep the tags. It's something they sort of take off their bag and they...
He just cut out there.
Okay, Steph, can you grab me a tag?
I haven't done one.
Give me Cooper's.
Yeah, I've got to check it off.
So, yeah, I know that people keep the tags all the time.
I'll show her that one.
So that's one that she's sort of done. I can show you.
Oh, that's lovely.
So she does...
That was my test.
That's very cool.
I did get the big expensive pens they required for it, but she doesn't use them. She uses a normal texter.
That's very clever.
Yeah.
You're a very clever assistant there.
Very good.
You want me to get it up?
That's okay.
Beautiful. All right. Well, thank you very much. So, what have you got any big plans for the year, big goals, or anything in the pipeline?
Yes, we are moving studio. We're moving to purpose-built studio. So our plan is to get out of here as cleanly as possible and move into the other one as smoothly as possible.
Lovely.
So they're our big plans for the year. So yeah.
Do you know what month that's going to happen in, or?
It depends when we get out of our lease here.
Yeah.
So it should be about October. But one of my goals for this year is to do 70 portraits this year. So sort of move, not move away from newborns, just add on top.
On top.
Yeah, to do more portraits. So it's something again that I like, and it's dealing with people again, which I like.
You love people.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Like when I do the awards, I get all my awards in the portrait category. I get none in the newborn category.
Yeah.
Maybe I should be a portrait photographer.
Oh. So you went to AIPP?
Yes, definitely.
Yes, excellent.
Yeah,
oh,
definitely. Been a member for 3 years.
3 years, lovely.
That was scary doing that the first time.
Was it?
The first time you're like, oh, will I get accepted?
Will people like?
Yeah.
Tell me, so I have heard like putting your prints in for critique. Has that helped you grow? Obviously, you sometimes can have to go and lick your wounds afterwards, but
it's good. It really is. I thoroughly enjoy the awards process. I love what you learn and I love the people that you meet. For me, the biggest thing that I learnt was to look at my images differently and create them differently. But more importantly, to just sort of get over myself. It's not always about me. It's not always, oh my God, what's the industry going to say? It's just about you creating this thing. Don't overcomplicate it, give it a go. Put it up there, listen to the critique, and what they critique you on is never wrong. They're not going to say, oh, it's out of focus or it's in focus. Well, it either is or it isn't. It's like, it is or it's not. But there's nothing that they say that you just go, oh, that's total crap. You just go, wow, I didn't see that before. And now you do. I never thought of that before, but now you do. So like this year doing my awards, I'm like, nah, doesn't cut it. Nah, doesn't cut it. What am I going to do that doesn't cut it? But it teaches you to be humble, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think connecting with the people that you meet at the state awards and the national awards is just a blast. I think sometimes being a business owner, you are so lonely and you forget that you're part of a bigger community, and everybody has the same struggles or issues, and there's always someone that's done it before, and there's always someone who can help you.
Yeah.
So, yeah. One very, very wise friend said to me, the awards process makes you bitter or better. And I am determined not to be bitter.
Oh, that's lovely. A lot of one-liners today. It's not right. You can either get bitter or better. That's some good
and it stuck with me, and I was like, you're right. I can either have a whinge about it or moan about it and go, or I can just get better at it.
That's beautiful. Excellent. Thank you so much.
No worries. Lovely to talk to you. Have a great week.
Yeah, you too. Thanks so much.
Thank you, darling.